Miss James. How you doing? I'm a student at Kilkenny University. I'm doing an interview. I will use that interview for school. Is that okay for you?
Yeah,
Go
sure.
ahead. Do you want to tell me what you have already said?
Yeah, my name is Winfred, and
Where you from?
I come from Kenya in Africa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me ask you a question. Can you share a significant experience that shaped your identity?
Well, about my identity, I will not pinpoint a specific experience that shaped it, but I would say that being an African, I feel I have an identity from the day I realized I was born, from the day I found out who I was. I believe I found my identity already.
Oh, okay. Um, how do you feel your identity influence your interaction with others?
Well, my identity um, influences in some ways the way I interact with others because, especially being an African and now converting to an African American, living here for the past 13 years has I mean, I have found differences, and this has been, I see my culture kind of influencing how I interact with others. For example, when it comes to like my place of work, when different languages are used depending on probably where people come from, and depending on where I also come from, having come from Africa, some words or some terms which may be used that I do not quite understand what is meant by that, especially mostly the colloquial or the my friends at work call them ghetto um, um, phrases, which I've once in a while come across. I may not remember some of them, but uh, it throws me back like, oh, okay. I thought it was they were talking about this, but I later realized they are talking about something totally different. Okay, so I've seen that one being influence kind of how I interact with them, with others.
Okay, good. What challenge have you faced related to your identity?
Again, referring to my identity as an African, and in Africa, depending on how I was born and raised, the society, how I was shaped by the society. I would remember one incident where I after high school, I went before going to as I was waiting to go to college, I went ahead and I was looking to take a job opportunity, and I found out I was reading on the newspapers and I found a job opportunity that was in the nearby hospital, and this is a Methodist hospital, and so there was a, a, a an organization that was, I mean, there was we've we were being tasked with educating the community about HIV spread. I think by then HIV was a little bit very commonly spread out there, and so they were looking for social workers or community workers to help, workers to help or youths to help in spreading the health education about how to stop the spread, to let people know how it is, how people can contract HIV and AIDS. And so, in a panel, in this interview, there were some people were known to me, like some family friends, of my elder people, like my parents' age mates, were in the panel because they were in the board of governors of the hospital. And so I was tasked with a question in the panel. Among the questions I was asked was to explain, to educate a young person, not my age, a bit older than myself, who is having risky behaviors, and trying to educate them how HIV is spread and how they are supposed to stop the disease. And I was supposed to do that not in English but in my native language. It was very difficult because back home, once we are grown to speak our native language, and then once we go to school we learn English, and then we learn also Swahili. And so at that age of I was 14. I was 14. No, I was 17 because I was after high school. I was 17 years old, and so I was supposed to speak it in my native language, and it was very difficult because mostly I was more fluent in English and Swahili, and especially having to explain such things in Kimeru, my native language, was very difficult. It's some words which cannot come out from my mouth when I'm speaking to a bit of an elderly person older than me. So I did not. I said pass that question, and so I did not pass the interview. So I did not get the job.
Okay. That's when, if I understand, in your country, is not everybody speak English, right?
No. English is mostly spoken by people who've gone to school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what language you was talking to them in? Swahili?
The interviewers were speaking in English, but they needed me to talk to interview them, to say the interview in Kimeru, because that's the language that most of the community people understand.
Did all of them speak Swahili? I remember Swahili is the second language, right?
Well, in my community where I live, we are far away from the city, and so most people in that community, especially the catchment of the hospital, are only Kimeru speakers.
Oh, that's make difficult for them when they go to the city to speak. Okay.
So much, and some doctors come there and they are not happy because they cannot communicate, because they know Swahili, especially if they are Kikuyu doctors or other communities. They cannot communicate in Kimeru, but they can communicate in Swahili, and those village people cannot also do Swahili. So it's very difficult also.
That's really good to understand. And my other question for you, what do you identify as the most important or distinct practice of your culture?
Well, the most, say that question again.
What do you identify as the most important or distinct practice of your culture?
Oh, well, there is what I identify as the most distinct practice of my culture is our parenting skills and how we are raised, or how we raise our children. I don't know if I'm doing the best for mine, but I think back there, children parenting is a community job. Every parent minds the business of the children that are within, and the children respect all people of their parents' age. So if my parents come to my friend's house, they will call her mom to so and so. They don't address them by their name. My children will call the children of my friend will call me Jimson's mom, or they'll call me Andrew's mom. They will not call me by my name directly, because they think it's disrespect to call me by my direct name. And also my friend or my neighbor within the community, if they see my Jimson there, or my Andrew or somebody else misbehaving, they are free to correct them, and the child will listen. So it's like a communal thing. And so I used to imagine in the olden days when our parents were growing up, there was less worries about, oh, my child went and did this, because somebody else is taking care of your child somewhere else, So it's like when children are being dedicated even in churches, we say the child belongs to the community.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
really good.
as much as the sole responsibility of schooling and washing and I mean feeding the child belongs to the parents, the real parents. Community parenting is a communal. We parent as a community, and we bear the burdens of our children as a community too. Whatever other if a parent is going through difficulties with their child, every parent will take it upon themselves to to be there for that child, to be able to guide and direct so that the children can follow the right direction.
It's like all parents are parents, even if it's not your children.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. My other question: how are gender roles addressed in your culture?
Gender roles are quite distinct in Africa, honestly. Everybody knows their job. Every gender knows what they're supposed to do. Others are just there, but we know as women, but looks like pretty much women have the most to do, although the men are the bosses and they they are the heads and they are respected as such because they own us, they own the women, they own the children, everything belongs to them. But of course it's their job to provide. It's their job. The men provide. They make sure there is food, even if it's like setting up a shop for a grocery store for the wife to sell and make money. It's a man that sets up that. It's a man that makes sure the roof is not leaking, to make sure that the family is comfortable. It is the man that makes sure children's school fees is paid, that children get education. Those are, well, they're big roles, although we see them like they do almost nothing. But yeah, well, the women, of course, your husband has bought you land. It's your job to go and dig the land, plant crops with the children, harvest. The husband can help if some of those good ones will help, but mostly it's the job of the women and the children to take care of that and bring food home. Animals will be taken care of by the older boys, like teenagers. They take care of animals and like cows. Milking the cows is for women, not men. I've never seen my dad milking the cow, but women do that. Taking care of children, the women do that. But life, things are slowly changing because education is teaching people now to share roles, to share bills, and to do everything together. So it's not exactly like that, but culturally that's how we have
Oh,
been
what, like
now.
cooking? Is the men cook, clean the house?
No. Men don't go to the kitchen. Actually, they don't.
What
They
about
don't see
like
that.
in your culture? If like a man doing the cooking and cleaning, how they look on that?
Oh, they will look at you in a very negative way, and men will definitely want to have a talk with you because they would think your wife has a hand on that. Your wife is doing something inappropriate for you to behave like that.
Oh.
They might have taken some, I don't want to call it witchcraft because I don't even believe in that, but they think that maybe the woman is doing something malicious to be able to control the husband, to control the man and put him in a level where he can come to the kitchen. And I mean, there's a lot of talk traditionally about that, and so it's not really common. It may be practiced by the people who live in the city because you see in the city there is electric stoves and everything. Nobody will know that you are in the kitchen because you're not smelling smoke when you're out there with other men. But back there, because everything, our culture, everything is a traditional cooker. You're cooking there. It's done with firewood. No man will go out there smelling smoke. People will just think your mind is not even working,
My understand men positions, the men position, right?
Yeah. Men know their position and nobody complains about it. Men, even if, for example, when you visit, even right now, if you go to where I come from, it's a modern day we are talking about, But in the town, in the marketplace, in the evening, you'll not find women. It's just men sitting and chilling and having a good time, you
Okay.
know, having a social time. While you go home, it's cooking time for women, it's washing the babies, it's doing so many things after a long day's work. Of course, you're coming from work, you know. So yeah, all the roles are divided, and yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing those things with me.
yeah.
How social power, authority, or social role in a hierarchy expressed in your culture? How is social power, authority, or like social roles in hierarchy expressed in your culture?
Culturally, and also with our governance, and culturally, there was, like, I'll speak again of my community because that's where I grew up for most part. We know the heads of a family is the father is the head of the family, and then the mother is number two, and after that we know there is somebody that oversees them. That's the chief. The chief oversees the village. A village a village has, I don't know, I can't count how many homes are there, but it's quite a number of homes where at least everybody knows everybody that lives around there. Each of them, the villagers know every village, and if you saw a stranger in your neighborhood, you definitely know this person does not belong here, or comes from a different village, is just visiting, something like that. And so this person called a chief is a government appointed identity, has an office within there, and commands a very big authority in the village, such that everybody, whoever, whatever little thing or big thing that you have, before seeking the courts, people first of all used to go there.
Okay.
And besides that, there is also a council of elders, which now covers a bigger. This is more of a traditional leadership, which covers a bigger area. Like now, it's a whole community. It's not a village; it's a whole community, whereby men belong there. I asked my dad how they are recruited, but he didn't quite explain me because he's not one of them. He doesn't like it, but his dad used to be, my grandfather used to be one of those. They recruit men, and they indoctrinate them with authority. They make them very powerful, that they can command, like people who need to be commanded, like, hey, you need to stop doing this, you're not taking your children to school, you need to do this, else they give you conditions. You know, like the people who are neglecting their homes, their children, people who are like marrying several wives and forgetting the first ones, because it's allowed, our constitution allows to marry multiple wives, but on condition that you're taking care of them.
Oh,
You don't leave your woman to take care of the children by themselves. You're taking care of them. It means if you're taking 2 or 3, you can take care of them. So those are things that are addressed by those kind of community leaders, and fortunately or unfortunately, there are consequences of failing to follow what they tell you to do, because it's believed that people have faced death, people have faced some bad calamities because of violating their directions, and so really people listen to them.
good.
Yeah.
All right, my last question is, like in class, we learned that in honor-oriented society, Ruff came from one rules or a group membership. In a justice-oriented society, Ruff came from what one does or doesn't do. What is the role of ownership in your culture? Or are owner pride and disownership important concept in your culture?
Honor comes by, I'll give an example again of families and how we are raised, and in cultural. It is an honorable thing for someone to grow, go to school, finish school, get married, get children, and raise a family. But dishonor will come whereby maybe a child goes, decides to violate and steps aside, maybe gets pregnant while in school, and you bring now. That's where now shame comes. You hear them talking about you're bringing shame to the family because your mother got married like this. Yes, has followed the right path, and this is what you're bringing to the community. Some communities go to an extent of not really disowning, but punishing those kind of behaviors by either marrying them off as a number 3 wife. Like for example, if a child decided to do that when she's in teenage, instead of the parents, these days parents decide to support because of education. People have been really been taught a better way to live. But in the past, children who violated like that, they were married off as like second wife, third wife. Even if the husband will take care of them, they do not enjoy they don't enjoy the life of your own space, because now when you're a second, third, fourth wife, you'll be controlled by wife number 1, you'll be controlled by your husband. You have no life of your own. You'll be just like controlled by, you'll be like a subject of these other identities in the family. So that used to come as a punishment for young girls when they don't follow the right direction. Also, again referring to my culture, divorces were really a dishonorable thing. Divorces were really so much. I mean, even today you cannot come and talk to people, oh, you divorced. If you divorced, keep it to yourself. They don't talk about that. If it happens, also the government makes it very difficult to happen. If you go today and you say you want to divorce your wife and you've both agreed, you've signed documents, you're given 3 years to go and think about it again.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the government makes it also difficult because it's that culture in them that makes it like families are there to stay. You need to stay there and think about it. Go think. Do you really want it? Do you really want it? Or you may come back together. I mean, there's a lot that goes on around like divorces or relationships in families, and that's the reason why now you find a lot of gender-based violence coming in, whereby a woman is being mistreated or a man is being mistreated by the spouse, but they cannot leave because they don't want the shame. They don't want to be told, oh, you're a divorcee, oh, where are you going?
What about like if the husband passes?
When the husband passes now, that's another implication. Some communities will have the brothers inherit the woman, such that now the woman cannot go out to marry when they have these other children. The children need to be raised within within the home where the father lived. So this also brings a lot of, there's a lot of negatives with that, which comes because sometimes they don't care what killed the husband. They maybe mostly HIV killed the husband, and now the brother comes and inherits it and continues to spread it to the rest of the wives. So it becomes difficult, and that's when now the question of honor comes in. You see people suffer. It's not a good thing. Although it's a good thing that people really respect their marriages and they respect family and they do their best to stay there. Even if you really don't love this man, or this man is really like not being the best for you, you have children with him, you stay there and you do your best. And actually people grow old in such marriages and they live there until their children grow. because of the society. What is the community gonna say? Culturally, we don't do this. Now
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay there.
Yeah, I understand. Anyway, thank you, Winfred. I really appreciate the time you offered me to record you and have that interview. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, that was interesting.